I was about to start a video that's going to be mostly about how I've learned that my personality and my authenticity is enough to carry an audience's attention by not trusting that my authenticity and my personality is enough to carry your attention. And that is what's funny about this journey is you'll have moments where you'll take this idea here and you'll take this idea here and you'll put them together and you'll go, yes, I need to be doing this thing. But there's a process between you figuring something out and doing it enough to where you start to trust it. A couple of quick stories to illustrate this point. First, why was I doubting when I turned on my camera just now that this was going to carry the day? Me talking to the camera genuinely about my life experience with the idea of hopefully helping someone who's watching this video if they're in a similar situation. Why? Because I watched one of those YouTube videos where the person comes on and says, "This is why no one is watching your videos and your channel isn't growing." One of the things they mentioned was you have to have a hook. You have to talk about how this video is going to help the person that's watching it. And I do plan on this story and then the next story helping you. If you are struggling with going outside of your comfort zone in any way because you're not getting the immediate feedback you need to get better, or you're not internalizing that feedback to get better, then I do want this video to be helpful for you. But that said, me doing listicles and me scripting a hook that is market tested approved it's not the kind of content I want to make. Therefore, I'm adjusting. So, what are my expectations? This video is not going to be the viral sensation that's going to get my channel a million views. This video is going to talk to you from me with my real experience and hoping that that real experience helps you. That said, the second story I wanted to share was a follow up to a video I made a couple weeks ago where I was talking about I did a public speaking engagement where I was just reading the slides and was clinging to them for dear life. And I know this because I watched the video back and I could see, like, not literally, but almost literally, me like all my body language being toward the slides and none of my body language and energy being toward the people in the room. And even me watching it later and watching myself could like feel the energy being pulled away, and like none of the energy was being given to me as the audience. Based on the new data, I made some adjustments. I had a chance to publicly speak again last Thursday, and I deliberately made the slides with mostly pictures, very few words. So I couldn't, if I wanted to, cling to them. Like I was going to have to trust that what it was coming out of my mouth was going to hold the day. And it was a 20-minute presentation that led into a discussion about how small business owners use AI, which I'll be talking about more in future videos. So stay tuned on that. Rather than starting with a wordy slide that I clung to and read verbatim, I instead started with a story because I wanted to get across the idea that a lot of people are thinking about AI, specifically small business owners, but they're not talking to each other. So I told the story of how I was at a networking event where it was one where it has an icebreaker where you write an ask on a piece of paper, you put it on the wall. And then if anyone finds your ask interesting, they are assigned a number. They write that number on a sticky note and they put it on the piece of paper. And then later you come back to your piece of paper, and anyone who has a pink sticky note and their number, you find their number and you strike up a conversation with them. I noted as I went around the room, so I wrote on my piece of paper, looking for someone to chat with AI about. And that was it. I went around the room, I found one other person who said the same thing, and I, of course, made a point to talk to her. But then when I got back to my piece of paper, I had like 20 or so sticky notes on it. So even though people in the room didn't think to write down. They wanted to talk about AI. When someone else said they wanted to, they were interested. And I told this story to start off the presentation, and I could feel it. Like I could feel I by looking and just feeling the energy was focused on me. And when I got to the point where I revealed, when I got back to my piece of paper, there were 20 sticky notes. I could see several people, and one person in particular, I'm imagining them right now going, "Oh, wow, that's interesting," right? And then the rest of it, I think there were a couple other times where I did something similar, where I took a moment to relay something that was genuine and real. Not only did I connect with the audience, but in doing so, I was starting to calm down and feeling less like the pressure of everything, right? Of like holding their attention and like being responsible for their lives for an hour, which a lot of times it feels like when you're up there, like you're responsible for like the lives of these people. That's how like dire sometimes it feels. But instead of that, I was just leading a conversation. I was gearing their brains to have a real discussion. After 20 minutes of me talking in a very relaxed, communicative, authentic tone, we then had everyone start talking about how they're using AI, and it went fantastically. Like, I couldn't have thought of a scenario where it could have gone better. And a big reason why is because I challenged myself when I got feedback about the road I was going down in the space I was new to. I trusted that the advice was good, and I made changes, and I started to trust myself, and I'm starting to get better results. So if you are pushing yourself in a new comfort zone and it's painful, I want you to remember this. There are two types of pain. There's the type of pain where you touch a hot stove and it's protective. It's saying, ow, ow, like don't touch that, you're harming yourself. There's that type of pain. But then there's the muscle burn of getting stronger, right? So like when you work out, your muscles burn, they hurt because they're breaking down, but when they build back up again, they will be stronger. Confidence in a new space works exactly the same way. So if you are in a space where you're feeling that pain, think of it as muscle burn pain, not a type of pain where you're in danger, but a type of pain where you're getting stronger. If these stories helped you at all, I would appreciate a like on this video. Thank you so much for watching, and we will talk again soon.